You're welcome. My name is Oluwaberi Margaret John, and with me is
Cool, James.
nice to meet you. Okay, we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic today. It's a very dicey topic and a very problematic one because we are talking about how we can bridge the educational gap between homes, schools, and communities. You all know that education is very important. It is even more important now than ever, and there is a lot of educational gap between the homes, between schools and communities. Talk about access to resources, access to opportunities, connections. Those things are lacking, especially even in this country, Nigeria. So we're going to talk about it and we'd like you to follow us through. So, yes, what do you think really is the problem? Why is there this educational gap?
First, I should say thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Okay, the topic is such an interesting one, so to say, all right? Because we've noticed this gap that exists between the school, the home, and the community. Whereas this gap is just something that is not supposed to be or is supposed to be minimal. But now the gap is getting wider, I should say, bigger by the day. Because parents or families and students or pupils and the community have decided to allow this to get wider or get bigger. Whether they did that involuntarily or they did it on purpose, I'm not sure they are even aware. But that is the truth. We see that there's a gap because families originally, if we follow the system like we were taught in social studies, they're supposed to be the first place where the child learns he or her first studies because that child is being born into that family. The child is supposed to learn how to respect, learn how to pray, learn how to, in fact, the basic things like the
Yes.
foundation. And then after that, we expect that child in a school where that same child will meet teachers. And then at the end of school, that child belongs to a community. Now, in that community, whatever the child gets from the family and the school, the community becomes that one place where the production or the community will harvest whatever the child is carrying. But we see clearly that this gap exists where we now have families who want to, for whatever reason, thwart the system or thwart the standard or twerk it in some form of way, whatever they feel. Where we see that the parents who have the guts to stay back in the house and want to order the teachers in school to treat he or her daughter or son a particular way. That is not supposed to be. I remember when we went to school, when we were in school back then, if you're being flogged and you go to the house and you report your parents, they will even ask you first what you did, and at
Yes,
some point take you back to school and ask the teachers to flog you. But now, if you flog a child, you'll be
you're in big
arrested.
trouble.
In fact, I know a school I will not mention that arrested their teacher, a female teacher for that matter, and locked her up for days. Why? Because she flogged a particular child.
Wow.
So that is the mess we're into right now, and it's getting messy and shitty by the day. So while we go back to school, we see that even in schools, these schools now, because of the high proliferation, where everybody wants to own a school and become a fighter or whatever, they are making the standard to be low. That is why the education system is becoming a problem. And at the end of the day, we see our communities reaping whatever they did not plan for. Because
Honestly.
if a child goes to school and suddenly becomes a cultist, the community will now be part of that
Yes.
problem. If a child goes to school and refuses to learn, refuses to carry out assignment, refuses to follow whatever principles are in school, that the community will begin to reap from where they did not. So I see that the gap between the families, the school, and the community should not be this broad or wide. We should try to bridge it where the family understands the school understands the family, because the community at the end of the day will reap whatever
Yeah.
comes. So you see,
Yes. And interestingly, if you think about it, the community is really made up of people who are products of their homes or school institutions. So
yeah,
whatever we see in the community is really the result of what is going on in families or what is going on in schools. If there is a problem with this individual, it would show in the community, and it's quite a big
yeah,
problem.
yeah.
And I think it's my opinion that education should be that foundation, that part of life that we should address. Because you just imagine with me a world where everyone is educated to be leaders, educated to love one another, educated to show compassion, educated to even bring out their critical thinking, creative skills. Just imagine the ripple effect on the community. The community is going to be so beautiful and so productive. So this gap has long been in existence, and now we have to look for a way to bridge it. So if there are things you would like to recommend, what do you think we should actually do about it? Should we just go on campaigning, education, let's make it this, let's do that? Or what do you think specific roles, specific actions that even the family can play, specific roles the school can play, and then we see the ripple effect on the community?
You're right when you mentioned that. I feel that, in my humble opinion, there should be discipline because I already see that parents now lack discipline. Some people just feel attracted to some things they are not even sure. For example, it's easy for a parent to tell you in the Western world they don't flog children. And so if you flog a child here, how will you tell me that in such countries where the system is, let's say, balanced, you compare it with a system like what we have in Nigeria? Where even education is not celebrated. We have leaders who cannot even tell us about their certificates. So we have children now who admire that, even if I no
I
go
think
school, I go
it's a
see make
template.
it's just a template, just a format, whatever. Once you have your ways, you can get there and get to the top, right? So there should be discipline, core discipline, where parents will trust teachers. I've seen messy situations where a parent will walk up to school because his or her young child, very little, 6, 5 years, brought home a particular news you are not even sure of, you've not verified. You're coming to school to attack the teacher.
Can you imagine?
Doesn't used to be like that. And then on the part of the students too, students should be able to look from good examples because it appears the bad examples are becoming too much. We used to say there is nobody who is completely bad or seriously bad in a way, because even if a man is bad, that man will serve as a good example when you're talking about bad people. So even though we have students who are deliberately becoming bad by the day, I feel that they should stop looking at the bad example where they say, that one they do Yahweh, make I no go school. That one they do this, make I no go school. Let it be that you are looking for good examples. We have so many of them around us. Go out for those good examples, follow them, and then make it in life instead of counting. People just want to lay their hands on negative things.
And the most interesting thing, sorry to cut you short, parents should actually be the first good example.
Yes.
Honestly,
Yes.
because children even learn by observation.
True.
So imagine I'm observing this in my father and my mother. I believe that that's a template.
Mm-hmm.
Or just imagine stories where it's parents that is tell, okay, go and do this, go and do that. We can't see your friend and things like that. So even parents, they should be
Yes.
the first example
Yes.
through template.
Where you have a child telling you that Mark Zuckerberg is a school dropout, Bezos is a school dropout, what's his name? The former richest man of the world, owner of Microsoft, is a school dropout and all of that. So they want those kind of things and think that you can be school dropout and make it. No. There are still guys making it from school. When they hear some jokes or they hear some things that they should not follow those things. They should follow the proper discipline. Sometimes we say it's not just about eligibility, it should be about suitability. There should be suitable people to correct these errors. And parents should be ready always to abide by standard, and not because it is your child. The school standard or the community standard should be in some way manipulated to stay for you. So
That's
I
very
agree.
true.
Yeah.
That's very true. I think another thing I would like to address is people's idea of education. Education really is not just about school.
Yes.
You have a role to play in education. Just take for instance, you're asking a parent this, and child parent is like, well, my child goes to school, everything the child needs is in school. You don't have any role to play. Education starts first with the family, moves to the school and any other institution that is out there for training of a proper child. But everybody needs to know that education is first a family thing.
Yes.
First your responsibility. School is just a platform for education. The first foundation for education really is family. And I would always say there are two definitions for education. There is educe and then there is educare. One refers to bringing out what is inherent in a child, and one refers to teaching the child what the child should do. So imagine a parent that neglects both these dimensions of educare. You're not bringing out what is inherent in the child, the creative skills, the creative abilities, critical thinking, and you're still not taking the child to school to learn what is necessary. That's already a big problem.
Big problem.
Very
Big problem. I let me just mention this, that I remember those days in school when I'm giving assignments, especially during my early secondary school. My parents will come wait for me. In the middle of the night when I wake up, they'll wake up and come sit with me. That was some level of comfort and support.
Hmm.
It makes me feel that whatever I'm doing, they are supporting
It's
it. So I will not
supporting.
even fear the night. I will not fear whatever. They are there to support me. My
Yes.
mom taught me quite a number of things. I will not forget that it was my mom who taught me how to tell the time. It was a problem. I was,
For me
I
too.
was, I would not say I was a
She beats
dust,
me a
but
lot.
it was a problem until she taught me and I knew the time. My dad will always be there. But parents are so busy these days. They don't even have time for their children. They are out there hustling. Before they come back, it's late. The next morning, they are out. What do you expect? Teachers cannot be magicians.
Yes, at all. And they can't
Teachers
do
are not magicians. They
everything.
cannot do everything. For the 8 hours your child is supposed to spend outside of the house, when that child goes back to the house, it is now your responsibility to play your part. Some
Yes.
parents just feel that your teacher is there. The child is having bad handwriting, the teacher should,
Teacher.
the child will not do assignment, the teacher, everything you lay it on the
The
teacher.
teacher.
And then at the end of the day, these teachers, some of them are not even paid well. You see.
That's another matter. A very serious.
In Nigeria, it becomes a problem because if you don't pay somebody, where do you expect the person
The
to do the job?
motivation
The
to do the
motivation
job.
dies off.
Mm.
So why the pressure comes from the house? There is no nothing enticing to make the teacher do his or her job effectively. So that is another problem too. And that should be seriously looked into. Because if government don't respect education that much to even pay teachers or workers, then what are we even talking about?
That's very true. That's actually very big problem. I would like us to just address one more thing. This concept of education as scam.
Okay.
Because we hear it a lot, and then even children, little children, some people are really losing the promise of education. Of recent, I had to talk on. I was in a webinar and I had to speak with them as regards education as scam. You just realize many people don't even believe in education again. Now is I'm chasing the bag, I'm chasing the money. Even parents too are chasing the bag. They are chasing the money. So what do you think? What can we do as regards this mentality that is already a community problem? It's not just a family, it's already a community. Community now believes that education as scam.
Okay. So let me say quickly that was it Albert Einstein that said education is not what we receive in the four corners of the classroom or whatever we become. I feel also that why we take these things not to be serious. That minor thing, in fine art in just one, I was taught that a line is a moving dot. So that little thought that you conceive in your mind that is like a dot or a little drop, it expands to become whatever you begin to think in your head. It turns to your words, it becomes your action, it becomes your behavior, it leads to become your character, and people now know it, it becomes a reputation. You see, it was just a minor thing, like a dot. It became a line that moves, right? So if we say education as scam, last school as scam, it came from there. We know that whether we mean it or not, the moment we start saying this thing and you practice it, it has a way of affecting your mind. And once your mind is affected, man, you're wasting your time on anything you do. We see that happening, right? We have leaders, I mentioned before, who, whether they like it or not, they are up there. They don't have any certificate. They don't have anything to show. So I feel that our young ones or students should, for any reason, not see education to be scam. Because the more you keep saying that, the more it affects you. Education no be scam. We still have people who are making it. The likes of Chinua Achebe, the likes of Wole Soyinka, the likes of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. You see where it has taken her to. You cannot tell me you get to that kind of a position without knowing the rudiments, the nitty-gritties, right? We see Goodluck Jonathan. So many of them we can keep mentioning, our lecturers in school, all of these persons, even you and I, right? If we don't know what we are saying, we don't come here to talk to
Yes, we're
people.
products of education.
What are we doing here? It means that we are coming here to make noise. Because I believe that at the end of the day, at least we've dropped sense that will change a person's life.
Yes.
That is education. We're educating
Change
the mind.
narrative.
All right? You are making a person get another thought to be civilized the more. So for me, this is an encouragement. Education has come, or last school has come, should not be something that should be part of us. Even the system in a way supports all of these negative things. Where you see a guy struggling today, tomorrow the person don't do one thing like that for corner. You don't they use iPhone 15. And you are going to school and you're looking all worn out. And you're asking yourself when this thing will pay. You now want to believe them. But I feel that this whole thing is a process. You cannot say you want to have a child without getting pregnant. You cannot get pregnant and give birth the next day. It means you pass through the
Pass through
process
the
for 9 days,
process.
9 months. So during all of this process, there will still be results. You cannot just jump and get results without following the process.
Yes.
So whoever is telling you or telling anyone, I'm talking to them listening now, right?
Viewers,
That
we're talking to you.
education has scam.
Mhm.
I like you to see that school no be scam, education
Yeah.
no be scam. If not, both of us will not be here, right? So go to school, make the best grades, make it in life. I'm saying make the best grades. I remember this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It may not look like it will pay, but a time will come so that you not go and say on behalf of 1 million, I donate my family. You know, so that you have what to say and what you know what to do. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much, viewers,
Thank
for
you.
joining us. I hope you were able to learn something. Education is not scam,
At all.
and bridging the educational gap is important
Yes,
for a
yes.
stable community and a stable economy. So, to will come your way next time. My name is Olabari Margaret John,
I
and
remain Ukovi James. Thank you.
thank you.